Welcome back to our gardens and our tiny flower farm. It has been a couple of weeks since we've together walked through the gardens, and there's a lot of new things that are blooming since you've last been in here. So make yourself a cup of coffee or tea and let's just walk through the gardens together and look at everything that's blooming. In case you're new here, this is our newest cut flower garden. I started digging this garden in fall of 2023. In spring of 2024, I started planting in here. So it's really starting to come together. I have creeping thyme that is just starting to bloom on both sides of the pathway. And you can see it is just covered with pollinators. Do you see all the honeybees on there? As we continue walking down the pathway, there is an climbing Eden rose that I planted as a bare root this spring. It is budding up. It hasn't bloomed yet, but I am excited to see those blooms. And then as we continue on down the pathway, there is some sweet Southern Charm mullein that is just going out of bloom. And then there is a Coco Loco rose on each side. I planted this one as a bare root this spring as well. And it's, you can see it's faded, but it has the prettiest color blooms. And then there's just some more creeping thyme on each side of the pathway. In this back square, my husband built these obelisks for me this spring and I painted them. And I absolutely love the accent, the charm that they bring to the garden. So on this obelisk, I have Princess Charlene rose planted on here. And this was just a baby plant this spring. It's doing so well. Last night I came in here and I fertilized all of the roses in this garden and treated them for Japanese beetle bugs because we have them quite bad this year. And then this one is stainless steel. And you can see it has Japanese beetle bugs on it. But the color is pretty. I'll have to come out and take care of those bugs. Then these two squares are planted up the exact same way. So there is Invincible Ruby Hydrangea. There's Coco Loco Rose. There is Parfuma Earth Angel Rose. And over here, the only thing that is different on this side is the Invincible Ruby Hydrangea is looking prettier. I mean, oh, look at that. This was a baby plant last fall. Cathedral Bells Rose was another one that I planted as a bare root this spring. And oh my goodness, this rose is absolutely gorgeous. It is just like, it has a very full bloom and it is just loaded with petals. In front of the Cathedral Bells Rose, you can see there's some yarrow blooming. There's some lilies getting ready to bloom. All right, let's go see what's blooming in some of the other gardens. I don't think I've shown the planters to you in front of the garage, but they are putting on some size. This is my flower cart that I push out to the road every weekend for our cut flowers. And oh, this is an annual that I still need to get planted. But it is so much fun to just watch summer annuals fill in. And this is what the annuals are looking up here on the porch. Down here at this end, this is a Rose of Sharon that we planted 8 years ago. And it was just like this little stump of a plant. And just look at it. The hummingbirds absolutely adore these flowers. In just a moment, we'll head out to the back cut flower garden. But first, I wanted to show you some things that are blooming in the patio garden. First thing is this Let's Dance big leaf hydrangea. I mean, how gorgeous. And it blooms like this from now right up until fall. And over here by the wishing well, do you remember how small all of those plants were when we planted that up together this spring? Look how nicely it's filling in. Back here we have another big leaf hydrangea. I believe this is Paris City Line or something like that. It's just starting to get its first blooms. It gets those hot pink flowers. The daylilies in here, they only get morning and evening sun. This is on the north side of the house. And they still get those beautiful blooms. The perennial sweet pea, oh my goodness. Just look at it. It is, I think this is the first year it is looking this huge and glorious. And as we walk around the corner, there is the Bobo hydrangea just getting its first blooms, and the Jackmani clematis is still looking gorgeous after a couple weeks of blooming. The herb garden that we planted up here on the patio this spring is looking very sweet. We'll have to go up there and look at it in just a little bit. But this is another plant that the Japanese beetle bugs have just been totally attacking. You see, this is what they do to a plant. Like, it just turns a plant to, I guess I would call it like a lacy leaf, because, but this planter back here is looking very sweet. The super bells in this planter are looking so pretty. And this little corner, I have an idea of what I would like to do in here. I am thinking that I would like to remove this burning bush, which is considered invasive. We did not plant it. It was here when we moved to this house, but I would like to remove it and turn this bed into a complete hydrangea room. So the original plans for this garden was to curve it out and over to the edge of the house, but I was doing all of this by hand, removing all of the sod by hand. So I got tired and I just cut it off there. So I need to get like a sod cutter and just cut it out there, and then also like just kind of curve it out and attach this garden to the patio. And I think it would like look a lot better and make it everything look more cohesive, and then just fill this bed completely with gorgeous hydrangeas. Okay, let's go look at the herb garden that we have up here on the patio. You can go back and see the video of when we put this garden together if you haven't seen it yet. But this is just what it's looking like. There is just a lot of herbs up here that we use in our dishes for dinner. And I also like to come out here and just pick some peppermint, some lemon balm to make tea with. It's just a very sweet little patio garden. Before we head out to the back cut flower garden, this is the wishing well garden. There is some weeds in here. But the strawberry blonde marigolds, do you remember how tiny these plants were when we planted them this spring? So those and the snapdragons, we had started from seed, and then there's some salvia planted in here for the pollinators. Out here in the back cut flower garden, there's mostly just cone flowers that are blooming right along the front. And as you walk down the pathway, you can see there's quite a bit more things in bloom. So I think what we're going to do is just walk around this edge of the cut flower garden, and then we'll come back down this pathway. So the firelight hydrangea is just starting to get its blooms. The daylily is looking so pretty, and it's underplanted with some veronica. And most of the roses out here are kind of in a lull. We're waiting for their second flush of blooms. But you can see on the other side of the fence, the Sahara Rudbeckia is blooming. And these bloom right up until pretty much until the frost takes them. You can peek them kind of through the trellis here. Aren't they so pretty? The garden phlox are really starting to put on a show right now. This is a phlox that I got from my mom's garden. Absolutely adore that plant. And just kind of a repeat, daylilies, veronica. There is some creeping phlox down here. And on this side, there is more phlox that are just starting to bloom. This one, I think I had planted it last summer, and it's finally putting on some size. Oh, aren't those blooms just gorgeous? As we peek over the edge of the garden into the cut flower garden, you can see the snapdragons, there's lysianthus, there is some zinnias that I had saved seeds from just select flowers last summer. And then I planted those seeds this spring, and they are, oh, they're so pretty. The cosmos are blooming. There's a whole bunch of lilies that are getting ready to bloom. There's a summer blooming chrysanthemum looking so pretty right now. And look at this. The fairy garden is looking so sweet with some garden phlox, and the rose of Sharon has started blooming here. Back here, I have butterfly pea flowers. We will have to walk in there and look at them. The raised bed garden is something that I kind of put on hold until this fall or this winter to work on. There's so many other things going on right now that I just kind of put this on the back burner. But as we look into the cut flower garden from this direction, there's calendula, and this is the butterfly pea flower. This is to make tea with. I did make a cup of tea yesterday with this flower. I mean, just look at that bloom. It makes the prettiest tea. And I must have forgotten to pick up my shovel. But over here, One of you sent these seeds out to me, and it's a celosia of some kind that attracts the pollinators. Isn't it so pretty? So this is the color. Like, I had saved zinnia seeds from just select flesh colored flowers, and this is the kind of flowers that we're getting from it. Aren't these colors so pretty? The trellis that we had built this spring for our vining plants, look, our watermelons are starting to vine up there. Won't that be so fun to see them dangling down through these tunnels? I mean, can you just imagine walking through here with those vines dangling down? And then on this side, we have all of our vegetables growing, which are looking, they really took off in the heat that we had in the month of June. This is the herb garden. There is some pretty things that are blooming in the herb tea garden as well. The incredible hydrangeas looking so pretty. There's calendula. There is chamomile blooming, agastache. There's still more chamomile. And then this is a rose that I am so excited about. It's called Flavorette Paired Rose. It makes great cut flowers, but the petals are edible as well. I mean, isn't it just gorgeous? And then we have some sunset runner beans growing up here. The pink flowers are supposed to attract hummingbirds. Aren't they so sweet? And the nasturtium is not looking so good. I think I need to come out here and water them, but this one has the prettiest blooms. Look at that. Along the front of the herb garden, there is some more strawberry blonde marigolds. There's basil, there's chives in that container. There's more chamomile. There is thyme, sage. It's just a fun little corner. I'm gonna give the girls some Swiss chard from the vegetable garden. Here you go, girls. As we head down this pathway, there's coneflowers on both sides of the pathway, and then there is drumstick alliums. And as long as these are in bloom, they are constantly covered in bees and butterflies. It is so much fun. As we continue down the pathway, there's some butterfly weed, and this was covered in caterpillars, monarch caterpillars earlier this spring. Bumblebees love that flower as well. In the back of the border, there is some gorgeous phlox. These make very pretty bouquets. And you can see the sunflower patches started filling in. And this lavender is a little hedge that I planted 2 years ago, I believe it was. And just look how it's filled in. It sways kind of out over the pathway, softens the edge of the pathway, and it is constantly covered in bumblebees. This is a poppy that just seated itself there. I couldn't bear to take it out because the blooms are so pretty. There's some creeping coreopsis and more lavender. The daylily is looking so pretty. I'm not a very big fan of daylilies, but oh my goodness. This one is so pretty. There is a rose, climbing rose on this obelisk that I planted as a bare root this spring. We'll have to swing around, look at those blooms because they're looking so pretty. And a vintage colored super bills. I was so excited to find this spring. I think it accents this little garden shed so well. Then as we come around the corner, there is incredible blush hydrangea. There is bee balm, there's Russian sage, daisies, yarrow, more creeping coreopsis, and just a whole lot of phlox. They're looking so pretty right now. And right in the middle of everything is some echinacea that is looking so sweet in there. This is along the back side of the cut flower garden border. You can see I left my tools out here, but this rose on the obelisk is called Lavender Crush. I wasn't sure if I would like a purple rose. I've never grown purple roses before, but it is actually very pretty. I need to show you this view because not a whole lot of people get to see this angle. It's like you have to actually walk back here to see this view. It's right here between the cut flower garden border and the sunflower patch. And we have our grape arbor, and you can see into the chickens run, and it is a very peaceful spot in the garden. And then as you turn around and look in this direction, this is another one of my favorite views. It is so peaceful back here. Well, friends, I hope you've enjoyed walking through the garden together and just looking at everything that's in bloom. July is always such a pretty month because it is just everything has filled in and all the summer things are blooming. Have an amazing week in your own gardens, and I will see you right back here next Saturday. Bye.